Hello, welcome to the video. My name is Charles and I'm going to be sharing with you 10 things that helped me to lose 40 pounds and now keep them off. And this, if you've heard it before, is probably a sign that you actually need to implement it, because the more of these 10 things that you stack into your lifestyle, the easier it is going to be for you to actually not only lose the weight but also maintain it as well, which is what I have now done for the past 6 years. And just to be clear, I struggled to lose weight on a plant-based diet, even though I was super healthy, or thought I was. I was actually kind of binging a little bit for like nearly 10 years. So for me to now to be able to actually figure this out has been life-changing, to say the least. I thought my metabolism was broken. So if you feel the same, if you're struggling, let me know in the comments, because I got you. Let's figure this out together. The very first habit you want to adopt is to eat a load of potatoes. I'm talking that you eat potatoes every single day, and actually preferably one of your meals has most of its calories every single day coming from potatoes. And the reason for this is that potatoes are the most satisfying food on the planet. I'm not making this up. They have the highest satiety index. It's a real thing, and it measures how full and satisfied a food makes you. Potato just beats everything else by a landslide. Not only that, potatoes are naturally low in calories. Contrary to what you may hear, they're about 400 calories per pound, which means that you can eat a large amount of them. Let's say like if you were to eat 4 or 5 boiled potatoes, you're only going to be consuming about 500 calories. For contrast, Ben & Jerry's is like 1600 calories for one little container. So a serving of Ben & Jerry's, which is not going to keep you full, is more calories than 4 or 5 boiled potatoes, which you're going to struggle to eat because they are so flippin' satisfying. So what I do every day is I have a side of potatoes, and I normally have like 2-ish medium potatoes, or I have like a whole sweet potato in there. White potatoes, sweet potatoes, it doesn't matter, you do you. And then I have some vegetables and I have some tofu. And that's kind of like what I have on like a daily basis. Which brings me to my second habit, which is to eat a pound of vegetables every single day. Non-starchy vegetables are things like broccoli, can't think of any other vegetables, asparagus, mushrooms, capsicum, tomato, cucumber. Some of them are technically fruits in there. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, all of those vegetables that you probably hated as a kid that hopefully your parents forced you to eat, and if not, I'm sorry, but you have to eat them now. The reason for this is that they are even lower in calories than the potatoes. They're about 100 calories per pound. So you can have more food and you can have more bulk, so you have less cravings and you feel more satisfied, and you can stay consistent with your diet a whole lot easier, and you're not hungry, which leads to binging a lot of the time, but you've also eaten less calories. And I would split it up over 2 meals, where you have half a pound at dinner and then half a pound at lunch, which is exactly what I do to this day, by the way, 6 years on. Now we're gonna go on a side quest here, but I promise it's the most important thing that you know about weight loss, full stop. And that is that you must, if you are gonna lose fat, be in what's called a calorie deficit, which means that you eat less calories than you burn. This is the only way to lose weight. It is the first law of thermodynamics that energy can either be created or destroyed. And so everything that these habits are trying to do is simply to lower your overall calorie consumption consistently in a way that feels easy, so that you can maintain your weight loss. Mind-blowing, I know, but that's just kind of how it works. The easiest way to have your 1 pound of vegetables every day is to just choose 1 veggie, or maybe 2 if you're super fancy, that you want to eat every single day. And so for me, that's typically a head of broccoli, or 2 heads of broccoli, where I'll have one as a side at lunch and then another one as a side at dinner. I don't know if you can hear, my kids are screaming so loudly. I also cook with a ton of vegetables, so you can do it this way. If you are not going to make some kind of component bowl where you just have your veggies, your potato, your tofu, whatever else you're having, or just a side and really anything, you can add half vegetables to whatever meal you're cooking. This is a huge strategy that I'm just not even going to go into. Let me know if you want to see some content on that in the comments, because I truly believe this has safeguarded me against weight gain for the past 6 years. It is a game changer. Veggies are life. Put it in the comments. What veggie do you want? And then build a habit of consistently having that for 2 meals every single day as a side. Third one is something I've talked about so often, so if this is repetitive, then great. If you're not doing it, this is your sign, and that is to cut out oil. Now, the thing that people are going to say here is that you need to have a healthy fat source. This is true. I concur. It is not oil. Oil is a highly refined product. You take something like olives, which is essentially a fruit, and then you take out the fiber, you take out the water. Most of the nutrients come with those 2 things. And what you're left is a pure fat product, where fiber and water gone means that it is so calorie dense And that if you have even a small amount, let's say you have like a tablespoon, you're going to be having more calories in that tablespoon than your entire head of broccoli that you're adding to your diet. Which of those things is going to keep you full? You're not even going to register the oil. Most people, by consuming oil and oily products in their day-to-day, are racking up thousands of extra calories every single week. So I cook with baking paper now. I saute with water, or I use an air fryer. I just don't cook with oil, and it makes it so much easier for me to moderate my calories without even noticing. And now, like, truly my taste buds have changed to the point I don't even like oily food. Your taste buds will adjust, but you need to have less calories to lose weight, and that being just hard, full stop, if you don't cut out oil, is not. Number 4 is to create a rolling prep system. So for any of you people out there who love watching YouTube videos or Instagram where there's like amazing prep going on and someone makes some like beautiful bowl and then they have all of these like rainbow colors and it sits in the fridge. If you've ever looked at that and thought that is so overwhelming, or you've tried it and you've spent 4 or 5 hours on a Sunday, then like, same, I've been there, I've done that. Most people aren't gonna do that. I actually believe, bringing the fourth wall back here a bit, that content creators, they're struggling to make content a lot of the time. Like, you have to repeat it. Even this video right here, this is gonna be super meta. This video is very, very similar to another video that I've done. We have a lot of complicated, difficult, time-consuming, but beautiful meal prepping systems in our kind of peripheral through social media that are not actually realistic for most people. And you probably know this deep down because you're not actually doing it. What works instead is to make things so easy, so simple, so consistent that you don't have to think, and it really only takes about 20 minutes total time per week. So what I do for this is I always have my potatoes, because potatoes are life, they're super satisfying, and I just put them in the oven to roast every couple of days. Don't even chop them sometimes. Let that kind of sit and forget about it, go do something else, come back and they're roasty toasty. Or I put them in a pressure cooker, steam them up. I just microwave potatoes all the time, nuke them because I love my microwave. And if you're scared of microwaves, then check out the link in the description for why they're actually totally fine through rigorous scientific testing. And then I also just cook up my tofu. So I do the most amazing tofu ever known to man, and mostly it is just because it is lazy. So I just chop up tofu, I don't press it, I add some nutritional yeast, I add a little bit of Vegeta stock, you can use whatever you want, anything that's just gonna make it a little bit salty, and then I put it in the air fryer. And so those two things are pretty much the extent of my prep. And then I just add like my side of veggies every day because it's easy enough to steam it up. And right then and there is my rolling prep system, 20 minutes. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And what makes it rolling is that you just have a very simple trigger of, if I run out, then I will prep. So you never forget, because you just get into this great run out prep system. It really works. The 5th habit is you're going to choose 3 to 4 core weight loss dinners. These are going to be on rotation every single week. And you're going to choose things that you do love that can be easily modified to be lower in calories. And preferably something that if you're cooking for your family, it's easy to modify for everyone as well, because everyone has like different calorie needs. Kids are going to need a bit more fat in their diet. They're not going to have as many vegetables. Maybe you have people who aren't plant-based, so you want easily modifiable recipes. So for example, what I do, one of mine is pasta, because I can add a ton of veggies, so I can lower the calorie density that way. I don't have to cook with oil. I don't have to add anything like overly processed. And then as I'm serving that up, I can serve it with my side of broccoli, and I can also serve myself more of the vegetables that I've put in it and less for my kids. Another one that I love to do is like a lentil dal. And so I'll use rice. I have my lentil dal, which also has a ton of vegetables in it. And then I have my big side of broccoli. Another one I would do is soup, because I can just add any vegetable, any potato, always potato, and basically like blend it up or not. And who doesn't love soup? Soup is amazing. So you can start to get a gauge of how easy this is. You just have to make a decision and then add a ton of vegetables and stop cooking with oil in order to lower those calories down. The other thing you want to do with this, just so we're super clear, is you want to avoid flour and as much like processed kind of food as possible. Think about chickpeas, legumes, rice, grains, vegetables, fruits. None of those things are ever going to be off limits from a calorie perspective. The moment you start adding in tortilla chips, wraps, condiments like mayonnaise, processed meats, you've just threefolded the calories in that single ingredient. So I'm not saying you can never have that. I'm saying you have to have such a small amount if you want to lose weight eating this way, because the calories shoot up so quickly. So for me, I just don't want to go hungry. I never found that helpful. It never got me consistent in the 10 years of dieting that I have had. So I'd rather eat less of those foods, but I'd be able to eat more volume overall. The sixth thing to do is to just start eating oats every freaking day. I have eaten oats pretty much every day for like the past like 4 or 5 years. I don't get sick of them. That is not true. Sometimes I get sick of them, and you know what? I eat them anyway because I don't have to think about it. They taste good enough. I add at least 3/4, and by the way, 3/4 of a cup, I'm pretty sure the cup measurement in New Zealand is different to America. So you probably actually need to add like an entire cup of oats to feel full and satisfied. I do use some protein powder in mine because it gives it a nice flavor, and I'm trying to build muscle, so that's super helpful for me. If not, use a sweetener like banana or a little bit of maple syrup. Add a ton of fruit, add some flax in there for omegas, some soy milk in there for the phytoestrogens that are actually great for you as a woman. Load her up and then you're ready to go. You probably eat a consistent thing for breakfast anyway in terms of toast or cereals, and you probably grew up eating the same. So just shift your breakfast to oats. Easy. The 7th habit that you want to do every single day is to hop on the scales. No, it is not bad for your mental health. It has been tested. It is only bad for you if you have attributed meaning to it where a number equates worth, and that's just not the case. What that data is going to show you is your body's natural fluctuations, first of all, but it's also going to show you trends over time, and this is what's most important. And there's been studies where 2 groups of people over Christmas time have daily weighed or not. The people who did lost 3-4 pounds. The people who didn't gained 6-7 pounds, just because they had a level of accountability. I still do this to this day. That is hundreds, it's actually thousands of times of me hopping on the scales. It is not meaningful, but it is data that I can use that safeguards me from continual weight gain, because I can rein my habits back in check if I start to see that the scales is consistently going up. So do this as a habit. It has been shown to help with weight maintenance. Start it now. The 8th thing that you want to do, I just wanted to show my nails because look at that, is to stop using dressings and stop obsessing over dressings, because there is like every single day someone messages me and says, what dressings do you use? I don't use dressings. Why don't I use dressings? Because they are very, very high in calories. It's very, very easy to overeat on them and over rely on them when your taste buds are going to adjust and not need them to the same extent if you put in a tiny bit of effort up front. So what can you do instead? You're flavoring your veggies, you're flavoring your salads, hummus. And I like store-bought. It does have a little bit of oil in it, so I know that sounds like I'm saying don't eat oil, but then also do eat oil. It's a minimal amount. It is worth it for me to have that tiny bit of oil and just put a little bit of hummus that is store-bought, because it adds so much flavor. I will mix my hummus with some lemon juice sometimes. I add soy sauce to my broccoli. I add salt and pepper to my broccoli. I use barbecue sauce on my broccoli. I use hot sauce. I don't use tomato sauce. My kids like swim in tomato sauce. So I would err on the side of, if you are going to use a dressing, go to Whole Foods, go to Trader Joe's, go to Sprouts, go to somewhere. Go to Countdown if you're in New Zealand. Try to find a dressing that is either oil-free or very, very low in oil. Look for something that is under 60 calories per tablespoon, like preferably like 30 or 40 calories per tablespoon, and then still have it quite minimally, because you don't want half of the calories from the meals that you're eating to be coming from a tiny bit of mayonnaise. Even barbecue sauce or ketchup are going to be lower in calories than anything oil-based that looks healthy and green, because they don't have oil in them. So that's kind of where I go. Number 9 is to force yourself to move more so that you can be healthier, build more muscle, not have to eat so little calories and still lose, and just feel happier. And so when I say forced movement, I'm talking about intentionally making it easy to move. So for me, I have a walking treadmill that I put under my desk. I also stand at my desk, which also burns more calories, and I fidget more. I actually park really far away from the gym. There's like an empty car park, and then there's just me, as far away from the gym door as I possibly can be, so that I get to put some more steps in. I ride my bike places. I've built a hobby of skating. Essentially, I'm just trying to get more movement naturally so that I can burn more calories, have more fun, And I'm not having to do that as some kind of like intentional exercise, but I also do have intentional exercise. But if you're just starting your journey, just building in that movement in some form or another, or having some kind of minimal step goal is vital to you building a habit of not only losing, but then being able to maintain, which is what you're all about. I'm gonna guess if you wanna actually build habits that lead to long-term results. Number 10 is that you adopt a mindset of fail faster. This takes you from being overwhelmed and not starting, or starting and then failing and then giving up, to being someone who consistently takes action. And so what this means is that we expect failure, we expect that we're going to muck it up. Even if this list right here, you're probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know exactly where to get started. I don't know if I should have white potatoes or sweet potatoes. I don't know what kind of veggie to choose. Just take action. Fail faster. Muck it up. Have the wrong veggie. What even is the wrong veggie? Just get started. Get out of this kind of decision paralysis and make moves, because what happens is that when you fail faster, you can learn quicker, which means that you can actually adapt. This is even more important when it comes to consistently picking yourself up after you have these like micro failures or these macro failures along the way, because you can see that as an opportunity to learn and change. This was so vital for me in my weight loss journey, and now doing many other things where I don't beat myself up if I get it wrong. I don't beat myself up if I didn't do it perfectly. I don't feel bad when I do things that are dumb, because I know that that takes me into the second phase of learning, which is conscious incompetence. I was unconsciously incompetent, now I'm just conscious of it. It's positive, it's great, it's amazing, yay! Literal self-high fives all the time when I fail, when I muck up. And I have it on my wall. I have fail faster written on my wall to remind me to take action quicker, and that when I do that, that's positive. Adopting this mindset of becoming a fast action taker and a fast bounce back rater has allowed me to do so much more than I ever did before. So of all the tips, this is the one that is going to help you to actually leave this video and take some action. That's it from me. Let me know in the comments which of these 10 things you're going to action right now. Go and do it, come back, and then let me know so that we can reward you and give you a little bit of dopamine, maybe give you a tick, maybe give you a heart. I don't know, maybe I'll actually reply to my comments one time. Who knows? And if you want to go deeper into the behavioral change side of things and you're like, yeah, I like that part, then I have a podcast, which you can see in the description, which talks all about this stuff. That's it from me. I will see you next week for another video. Go crush it. You got this, and eat a potato. All right, bye.